Hey there, welcome back to my channel where today I am launching the week of Mikayla from Glamlite. This palette is pretty much all colors. There are some rows of neutrals, but I don't usually use those. I like to dip into the colors, and this week I want to challenge myself to use all kinds of colors. So if you are interested in really colorful eyeshadow, this is the place for you to hang out. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. If you're new here, hello, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom. I really like to play with eyeshadow, but especially colorful eyeshadow, and I upload several videos every week. That's all eyeshadow related content. Also, I want to say that I have been pre-filming because I'm having a baby. So I'm actually filming this video in the middle of January, but I plan to have it published the week that my baby is due. I don't want to confuse you guys with my timeline. That's what's going on. I've been pre-filming. This look was actually filmed like a month ago. Anyway, I think it's really pretty, and if you want to see how I did it, don't go anywhere. Alright guys, so to start off this week of Mikayla palette, I want every one of these looks to be colorful. I've been kind of in a neutral mood lately at the time of this filming, and I really want to just play with lots of colors. So that's one of my goals for this palette. And the other one is not to do green in every single look, because I went back in my Glamlite playlist, and apparently most of the times that I've used this Mikayla palette, I have tapped into the green shades. So I want to try to generally avoid having very green looks because I really like Glamlite. My favorite green palette is the Dirty Martini palette, and so that one, I'm always using those Glamlite greens. I want to challenge myself to use shades other than the greens because the greens are really pretty. So I've already primed my eyes using the Glamlite Icing Primer, actually, in the shade White Frosting. It's linked down below in the description box along with everything else that I'm using or will be using. And let's zoom in a bit and get started. I think I want to do blue and pink. So I'm going to take a dense blending brush first, go into the darkest blue matte in the palette, and I'm going to start that in my outer corner. That's a really lovely deep lake blue sort of color. I'm now going to take a smaller blending brush and dip into the one above it. This one's called Rhodey, and I'm going to place this on the center of my lid. I'm also going to use it to help blend out this darker blue. I do like Glamlite's formula. I mean, I don't have any complaints about it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's really pigmented. It performs so well. I don't have any complaints. It's just I happened to notice looking back, because I didn't want to repeat my looks, that I used the greens in this palette a lot. And it's probably just because I like green eyeshadow. It's my favorite eyeshadow color to play with. But I wanted to specifically use other shades in this palette because there are so many. This is laying down beautifully, and I do want to deepen the outer corner a little bit more. I'm not going to deepen it with a different shadow. I'm just going back into that original blue that I already laid down and putting down more of it now that I'm putting it onto a blended base. But this is so pretty. These colors are great. Now, I don't know if you're noticing, but I'm doing a slightly different style. I'm doing this angled outward, which is something I typically do, but you're going to see a slightly different twist to it when I lay down the shimmer, because usually I'll put my darker shade in the outer corner and like halfway through the crease, and then I blend it out, and then I put the shimmer from the inner corner out to meet the mattes. That's my standard application technique, but recently I saw Katie Marie share a look on Instagram. Oh, see, I just shot myself in the foot because I just did exactly what I usually do instead of what I intended to do. Katie Marie shared a look on Instagram where she had done this sort of style, and when I finish it, you can see what I mean. And I thought it was cool and different, and I wanted to challenge myself to do a slightly different shape. So I'm just taking these two blues and working them together so they grade nicely, and it is not a problem at all because the formula is excellent. Now, instead of taking a shimmer and starting at my inner corner and bringing it all the way out to meet the mattes, what I'm doing is I'm going to follow this diagonal line of naked skin with the shimmer. So it's going to be sort of three-tone because I'm using a pink. The shimmer is called Simping, and I'm putting it on a flat brush. Then I'll spray my brush. Anyway, so this is now the third color in the trio, and it's going to also go diagonal. So I'm laying this in my crease, carving it up further than I usually do, and it's coming in at the lower inner corner, less far, not as far as I usually do. So it's looking a little bit rough right now. I mean, the idea is there, but I just want to soften it a little bit. So what I'm going to do is grab this same flat blending brush and dip into the shade Naz just a little bit, and I'm not spraying it. I'm going to put it on dry because I'm trying to blend the shimmery pink into the light blue matte. They're very different in color, and they're very different in formula, so it's not going to be super smooth, but I'm just going to go on the very edge of the pink with this Naz shade. Yeah, there we go. So much better, because that helps transition from the formula and the color one to another. Oh, I'm so glad I did that. That was much better. It didn't look bad before, it just looked sort of weird. Like there was too much of a clear distinction between the two, and I wanted them to grade nicely. And I will go back into the light tone shade and add in a little bit more. Now with that same small blending brush, I did clean it off of the Rhody color, and I'm going into this pink matte. It's called Iconic. Now this, I have to be careful, this is not a light pastel matte. This is a very mid-toned, bright pink. But I want to bring a little bit of pink to my inner corner here, but not too much. So I think I'm going to mix it with the shade Harley, which is the closest that I can get to my skin tone inside this palette. I'm just going to tap into each of those very lightly and go right here on the edge of the pink shimmer. So it's going to bring in a little bit of pink, but not a neon pink, because the neon is going to be too dark for this part of my look, for my taste. When I do the other eye, I'm going to put this step along with the mattes before I lay down the shimmer, because I think that'll make it a bit easier for me. Now let's bring those same colors onto the lower lash line, although this time I think I will make the inner lower lash line corner a little bit brighter with the original pink shade. So this is where we are now. There's no light enough matte within this palette that I would like to use as an inner corner highlight. So I'm taking the shimmer pink again, and I've sprayed it on a small brush, and I'm just tapping it in the corner here. The Glamlite shimmers are they're so impactful and powerful that even though it's a little bit darker than I would prefer for an inner corner highlight, once it's sprayed and the light catches it, it's still gonna be pretty bright. Okay, this look completely 100% reminds me of the Glamlite Barbie palette. Anyway, I'm going to choose a waterline color, go off camera, finish the other side, do the other side. I'll be right back to show you how it looks at the end. All right, guys, here is the look all said and done. I did a winged outer corner. I did not do an inner corner flick. I did not line my upper lashes. I just did the wing in the outer corner. And then on my face is everything else that's pink, because I guess I was just feeling pink. I wanted to bring in some tones. So let me tell you what I've got. On my waterline, I used two different creme gel liners. This is the shade Fluffy. It's a light pink, and I put that in the inner half of the waterline. On the outer half, I used the shade Boots, which is a darker pink. Honestly, Boots didn't make a huge difference when it was right next to Fluffy, so I could have used something else, or I could have used blue, whatever. This is what I did. On my lips, I'm wearing the shades Showering Sunset from Burt's Bees Tinted Lip Oils, and just a little dab of NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Summer Fruit. And then on my face, I'm wearing a blush from Milani in the shade Dolce Pink, and then I'm wearing some highlighter from BH Cosmetics Frosé palette. So that's all the pink. This is the look. I think it's lovely. I'm actually really excited about it, because like I said, at the time of this filming, and you guys are seeing this video almost a month after I filmed it, at the time of this filming, I have been into neutrals, which is pretty unusual for me because I love colorful eyeshadow. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to play with the Glamlite palette, one of the reasons I wanted to challenge myself not to use the greens, just throw myself into the pan with a bunch of colors and see what I could do. So I think this look is really fun, and it's reigniting my excitement for colors and being creative and wild and doing random things. I don't know. This isn't the most unique, weird color story. Obviously, these colors go together beautifully and are commonly used, but I'm very happy with the eye look. I really like this angled thing that I tried that I saw Katie Marie do. I think it's pretty. I hope you like it too. Remember to like and subscribe before you leave so that you don't miss new content. Remember to check the description box because lots of information is down there, including the week of and whatever I'm wearing on my face, palettes, etc. It's all in the description box. Thank you again for hanging out with me, and I will see you again very soon in my next video using the Glamlite palette. Bye!
People would often compare or compete to have the tallest spire.
Yes.
So I'm not going to say they were built for the glory of God.
Well,
Because, you know.
on one level they were. The people were trying to make them so beautiful that when somebody entered the cathedral, they would feel awe and inspiration, and they would reflect on the majesty of God and his creation.
Yeah.
So to some extent they were. But there also got to be the point where, well, my cathedral's bigger than yours, and my stained glass is better than yours, and my spire is higher than yours. And that's just a human thing. We're constantly comparing ourselves to others and trying to one-up each other. But I do think it's fair to say that, especially the craftsmen, as opposed to the church elders, the craftsmen were certainly doing their absolute best work, and you can see that in the cathedrals. You can see that they did truly incredible art all over the place in the most insignificant details. And I think they had an attitude of glorifying God while they were working.